Hi everyone. Well, as you know, there are quite a few religious movements in existence today, all inviting us to follow their particular dogma, mostly preaching different values and cultures, and despite variations in policy, they all have one thing in common. In order to join, you must have a death wish and spend a whole lifetime inflicting misery on yourself and anyone stupid enough to take notice of you. Now, excuse me, with so many different saviours of the soul available, you may have difficulty deciding which particular death cult is for you. Hence the reason for producing this short guide to discovering heavenly bliss. Now, if you're the peaceful type who fancies a quiet life, coupled with the possibility of reincarnation, then maybe the Hindu religion would suit you. If, on the other hand, you have a distinct propensity for violence and are very easily offended, then perhaps Islam could be a more attractive proposition. But I'll come back to that later. Excuse me. Now, one of the best known religions is the Catholic Church, and being a member means that you can fuck away to your heart's content without wearing any sort of protection, thus increasing the world population at an alarming rate, and you don't even have to worry about abortion or any unwanted babies, just have them adopted. Now, if this doesn't appeal to you, how about the Church of Scientology, created by ex-science fiction writer and thankfully ex-member of the human race, L. Ron Hubbard. Now, in order to join this particular bunch of litigious nutters, you only have to do 4 things. 1. Become a trained actor or actress. 2. Distance yourself as far as possible from the loyal fans who worship you whilst you star in one Hollywood sausage machine production after another. 3. Be rich, stupid and gullible enough to donate a considerable part of your income to the cause. And 4. Believe that you are burdened by entities that only a blood-sucking parasitical con man can remove, for a hefty price, of course. Simple, isn't it? Anyway, don't go away, because if none of these grab your attention, next up for your delectation is the ever-dependable Church of England, whose charismatic leader Rowan Williams and his acolytes are always available for as many conferences as it takes to join the rest of us in the 21st century and start treating women as equals and allowing people to have a private life. Now, for these very important meetings, their holinesses have a full range of ridiculous outfits and idiotic hats with no expense spared on the lavish surroundings. They debate such vital issues as should gay people be on an equal footing with the rest of God's children, and which company with questionable ethics shall we invest in next. All this should provide entertainment for about the next 1,000 years, I think, in conference. Anyway, joining the most righteous Church of England is advisable if you play the stock market, but beware, their rather confusing policy on dealing with arms companies, i.e. apparently they only invest in corporations that give Scouts honour, not to export to regimes which abuse human rights. And by the time you become aware of this fact, the share values could be dropping faster than a clergyman's cassock. So hurry up and start reading about the benefits of being a Christian. Now, if investing in systematic brutalisation, torture and murder doesn't appeal to your strong Christian values, the good news is that the Church of England, which incidentally was reported as being worth a mere £5 billion in 2006, does have another worthwhile investment. Step forward, Caterpillar, the US-based earth-moving equipment manufacturer whose machinery was used to bulldoze Palestinian houses to rubble in 2005. The Church of England has a heavy investment in this company, and despite a heartfelt plea from the chief rabbi on behalf of the Palestinians and much wailing and gnashing of teeth by the curiously named Church of England Ethical, that's ethical by the way, investment advisory group, the best that Williams could offer was a letter expressing, and I quote, "deep regret for the treatment of Jewish friends," unquote. Well, if this is how they treat their friends, then God help their fucking enemies. And talking of enemies, for it's not the best kept earthly secret that Christians and Muslims aren't bosom pals, this brings me to the religion of peace, Islam. Now, as far as I know, there is no passage in the original Quran, and I do emphasise the word original, which actually advocates the elimination of non-believers. Indeed, parts of the book embraced Christian and Judaic values. However, with a few thousand years indoctrination and the advantage of modern editing facilities, any new editions of the Holy Book can generate a slightly different meaning to a chosen passage. For example, the expression something like "be merciful to the opponents of Allah" could now read, to borrow a line from Monty Python, "the holy hand grenade of Antioch shall blow thine enemy to tiny bits." Now, this may sound amusing, but I can assure you that certain passages from the original Quran have been augmented in a manner which can only be described as inciting violence and contradict the original version in Arabic, which largely preached peace. However, if you are prepared to relax your senses and let Islamisation wash over you, this religion may very well suit your needs. Now, you don't have to volunteer for any suicide missions, but should you be selfish enough to put your name forward, thus depriving any of the imams and clerics of a noble earthly departure, don't be surprised to find that the promised 72 celestial virgins have already been taken, because judging by the number of suicide bombers already sitting at Allah's table, supplies far exceeded demand. Alternatively, if it transpires that you just want to be a normal, peaceful, Allah worshipping Muslim and you don't beat your wife, force your daughter into an arranged marriage, hate gays, Jews or non-believers and don't have any other violent inclinations, then maybe you could apply for the next vacancy as editor of the Quran, and by so doing your influence and editorial talent could make the world a better place for everybody, even non-believers and those whose lifestyle you don't approve of. Well, there you have it in the proverbial nutshell. Unfortunately, time, a lack of talent on my part and broadcasting experience preclude me from offering any further guidance in your search for celestial excellence. Now there are other belief systems for consideration which I hope to bring to your attention in future videos. Lastly, I'd like to tell you about a movement which is somewhat different from the ones you've heard about and may appeal to your particular outlook on life. Now, the rules for joining are quite straightforward. There's no actual membership and you don't have to give any money to any religious organisation whatsoever or pay for religious literature. You may warn all self-righteous Bible jockeys, but any attempt to impose their narrow-minded beliefs on you will result in being told to piss off. You don't have to drop to your knees up to 5 times a day and clasp your hands together. There's no need to exude absolute subservience to fictitious idols or allow yourself or your children to be brainwashed that you will burn in hell forever and spend the remainder of your life repenting for absolutely no reason. You don't have to interfere in other people's lives unless asked to do so. And lastly, you may treat your fellow members and non-members with courtesy, consideration and kindness and make them feel that they, like you, have nothing to feel guilty about. Oh, and one other rule, you can leave whenever you wish without fear of retribution. I'm still trying to think of a name for it. Okay, thanks for listening. I hope to speak to you later. Thank you. Bye.